of experience in the formal education sector, from a teacher to a management and human resource consultant. He is also a business development and technology mentor at several organizations and serves passionately across Africa. Educators, ET and Try, join me as I make welcome on stage our host, the founder and president of the ETT Network, Mr. Joshua Obonea. Please let's have our virtual class. If your hands are not busy, give
Thank
him
you.
some flowers, some love.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Educators, it's nice to have you in here. Are you excited? If you're excited, let me see your excitement. Let me see that you are excited. This is day 2 of the Educators Retreat 4.0. Yes, you better show me your excitement. Otherwise, I would say we're not speaking. You've gotten enough. Yes, I mean, if we ended the retreat with just yesterday, you've gotten enough. And then to add what we have today, man, that's on a whole different level. So you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here again today. This is your commitment to the development of our great world. And I assure you that this is definitely going to yield amazing, amazing results for us. I just want to notify you that, of course, this session is streaming live on YouTube. And those on YouTube, again, I'm just going to open a part for myself on the side so that I can equally connect with the audience that are watching with us on YouTube. But today we're going to be having a very interesting conversation. We're going to be doing a lot of amazing things today, and I want to welcome you officially to the second day of the Educators Retreat 4.0. Let me quickly take out the time to recognize our guests in the house before we even get started. Lady Chinwe Dike, she was here before most of you guys. I wonder what that means to your commitment. I don't know, but she was here before most of you guys even joined here. So please, with a round of applause, with your virtual love, just show her some love. I'm not bringing her up yet, but just show her some love. Thank her for her commitment. You know, she's a school leader. She runs a school, a group of schools, and I mean, they just resumed. She's in the office, and at day one, I wonder how many school leaders will have the opportunity, or will have the commitment, the kind of commitment to be out on day one, sitting in their office to have such meetings, where the rest will be probably bogged down by so many other things, activities of resumption and all that stuff. And this woman is right here with us. Please send her some love more. Keep sending that love. That is very important. Thank you so much for being here. And just to highlight on what we're going to be doing right now. So we have this session, which is ongoing right now. And once we're done with this fireside chat, we have one more fireside chat for this morning session, and that's going to be with Manal and Adora. Manal Auntie and Adora Iguma. They're going to be joining us immediately after this fireside chat. We're already at the top of the time because we didn't start immediately on time as we're supposed to start. But while you are on your phone, I would enjoin you, share this with all the teachers, all the fellow colleagues, everyone who you know registered into this event. And those who have not registered, let them know they have to join us here. Those of you who witnessed Lady Chinwe speak last year, you should already be excited because you should know what is in for you right now. And if you've never heard her speak, please get yourself ready. By the time I begin to introduce her and tell you who she is, it will make sense, the kind of value she will be bringing to the conversation we're having tonight. So please, this is my encouragement to you to stay committed to your learning, because today is no different from yesterday. In fact, it is better because we're going to be receiving much value from this fireside chat. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very interesting topic with Lady Chinwe Dike, and this topic is going to be on reimagining leadership in education, cultivating values across generations. Reimagining Leadership in Education, Cultivating Values Across Generations. Before we get started, I'm just going to indulge those of us who are believers in the house. As my pattern is, please let's say a little word of prayer. Precious Father, we thank you. We adore you for your goodness. Thank you for your greatness. Thank you, Father, for the success of day one. We thank you for how you lit up our hearts yesterday. You sparked a lot of inspiring thoughts, ideas, thought-provoking action steps that was shared with us yesterday, from the keynote to the sessions. Thank you, Father, for everyone who has been participating keenly. Yesterday, we had over 147 people join the live call, minus the people who are watching live on YouTube. We thank you for the lives that have been transformed in this event. We thank you for everything that is happening. Thank you for what you are doing through this event. We thank you for the session we're about to have. Our hearts and our minds are open, and we pray that your wisdom will flow through us, through the speakers, through Lady Chinwe, to everyone here, and that we all will be blessed. She will be blessed, and at the end of the day, it will be to your glory and for the transformation of our dear world. Thank you, because you know you've answered our prayers. In Jesus' name, we have prayed. Amen. All right. So, like I said, today we're discussing reimagining leadership in education. That's a very interesting topic, cultivating values across generations. Before we get started, can someone put on the chat and tell me what the theme of this event is? The theme of the event, just put it on the chat very quickly. The theme of the event. What is the theme of this event? Educators Retreat 4.0. What is the theme? What is the theme of Educators Retreat 4.0? Put it on the charts. Let me see. You have to know it. You have to have it in mind. It has to be more or less your MO for 2025. You must have it somewhere in your heart that this is what I'm guided by throughout this year. I'm going to be introducing Lady Chinwe Dike for us to have this beautiful conversation today. But let me see some of the chats you've sent in here. I can't see your chats. What is the theme? Don't tell me you don't know the theme. Is it taking too long to type? Or mute your mic and tell me. What is the theme of the event, Educators Retreat 4.0? What is the theme? Because when I talk about the topic of this fireside chat, then it makes sense to you why we're discussing this. Yesterday, we gave an introduction during the keynote. Yeah, who wants to speak? That's Chimere.
Okay, good morning.
Yes.
Okay, the theme for the educators retreat is education for transgenerational. Hold on, education for global leaders.
Oh my God.
Abby,
Oh
a
my God.
call for transgenerational leadership.
Oh my God. What is going on here? There are so many things going on at the same time. Choose one. Is here education for
Education for
leaders?
global leaders. Education for global leaders.
No, it's not. It's education for global transformation. A call
Okay,
for
for
transgenerational
global leadership.
leaders. A call
All
for
right.
transgenerational leaders. That is the theme of this event, and it is quite instructive. It is quite instructive. Please, can we have the presentation down? We don't need the presentation right now. Can you take it down, admin? Thank you. All right. Let me tell you who we're speaking with today so that you can build expectation of what to listen to, of what to hear, of what to get. Again, you're welcome. This is Educators Retreat 4.0. If you missed yesterday's event, I tell you, you missed a great deal. You have to go to YouTube and relive the session. It would never be like the interactive call we had yesterday. I'm sure those of you that were there agree with me, but you can still distill knowledge from that live session. So go and watch the live session again. Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Chinwe is no new face at the Educators Retreat. She's no new face at Each Network. I already said, those of you that were here last year, she was here with so much power. And this time around, she's here again, and she's an esteemed educator, administrator, strategic manager, and she has a remarkable career spanning over 2 decades in the realm of education and academia. Her journey is characterized by a profound commitment to excellence and a passion for shaping the educational landscape. Lady Chinwe's expertise lies in various facets, including administration, educational policy formulation and execution, school growth, strategies, long-term profitability within the education sector, and the art of strategic leadership. So if there are school leaders in here, you should be very excited having Lady Chinwe in the call. Admin, please help me with all the, I wouldn't want a lot of feedbacks going on as I'm speaking. So she has, like I said, if you're a school leader here, or you have your school leader and she's not here, or they're not here, send them a message and get them here very quickly. Yes. Did I hear?
Hello?
Is it? Are you calling on me, Lady Chinwe? Hello, ma'am. Are you calling on me?
No. Okay. I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, really? Can you guys hear me? What's going on? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So I was going through.
I guess it's network.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was going through the introduction so that everybody knows who they are interacting with. I'm just going to continue. Her visionary approach has been very instrumental in fostering positive changes within the educational institution. She previously served as the head of school and board member of the Heritage Group of Schools, where she played a pivotal role in overseeing the operations of over 200 schools. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many times you find people like that who has that kind of institutional experience and knowledge. That's why I said you're a school leader, you're a teacher, you're someone who wants to take your career to the next level. Any leader of any form, this is someone who is going to distill a lot of practical knowledge to you. Lady Chinwe is the founder and executive director of ProWest Resource Groups, a holding for ProWest schools in Asaba, Nigeria, and ProWest Educational Consulting, through which she helps school leaders build systems and achieve maximum results. She is a chapter chairperson of the National Association of Private School Owners in Nigeria. Lady Chinwe's journey is a narrative of excellence, resilience, and tireless pursuit of sustainable growth in education. Her multifaceted roles as an administrator, leader, advocate, positions her as a key influencer in shaping education and the future of education. Ladies and gentlemen, educators, change makers from all around the world, join me as I welcome this powerhouse, a truly transformative educator and leader for this fireside segment, Lady Chinwe Dike. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you. First of all, let me pin you on my screen. Let me pin you on the screen for everyone. This is a chat that no one has got to miss out on. I think I saw Maxine join the room. I don't know if she's here. If she's here, please. This is me recognizing you. Yeah, I'm seeing that, class. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, Joshua. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good to see you all this morning. I'm happy to be on this platform. And in Delta State, school just resumed today. Right. And I had to bring out this time to make sure I didn't fail anyone on this platform. I want to thank you for this great privilege and honor to be your speaker for today. Mr. Josh, thank you so much for always identifying with me. I am truly very grateful.
Awesome.
I am not taking this honor for granted. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, let's take it from there.
All right.
I want to talk about leadership.
So hold on, just before you get in, You see,
Okay.
that's how she is. Or she is. She just wants to get straight into it, and that's exactly what it should be. But I just want to give us a very brief,
Okay.
background, because again, we're talking about the topic reimagining leadership in education, cultivating values across generations. That's what we're talking about. And just to give you context, yesterday we discussed, we had to set the expectation with the keynote and the first session, talking about the generational divide. And I hope, by the way, let me see, how many of you were not in the meeting yesterday? Could you raise your hand? Any of you here that was not in the meeting yesterday? So that means every one of you attended yesterday. So that's good. In that case, you were there when we discussed about how much we've been divided by the generational gap and why it's important for us to reach across this generation and to bring value, and the reason why we are calling for transgenerational leadership. And you see, one of the biggest problems we've had all along is leaders that don't take responsibilities. So people, they would always say, is a people, is this people, is that person, is that person. In fact, leaders, if you come to different nations and different places that are not working, most times you find leaders that are busy blaming the people. Say, it's the people, oh, is the people, is this, is that. But the truth is that 90% to 95% of the time when things are not working, it's not a people problem, it's a leadership problem. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be exploring the topic of leadership, reimagining leadership for us. I know we're going to be, Lady Chinwe is going to be bringing context from the side of running a school and group of schools and stuff like that. She's going to be relating it here and there to the classroom leadership and administration. But as you're listening, you should be applying the principles that we're going to be discussing in every single area, whether it's running a business, running a team, because those same principles apply across the board. On that note, dear lady, Dike, the question to you, the first question, which is what you were about to talk about immediately, is for you to, first of all, establish a basic understanding of what leadership is. Maybe beyond what everybody knows. I know there's general definitions and stuff like that, but to you, from your decade of experience, what does leadership mean?
Okay. First of all, let's know who a leader is. A leader is someone that is always in front of others. A leader is supposed to be in front of the people he or she is leading. For you to actually be a leader, you must be in front. Do not be behind. You must always be in front for people to see what you do and follow as soon as they see what you are doing. That is why it is important for leaders who are in front to always do the right thing, to avoid misleading others. That is who a leader is. A leader is someone who is always in front of others. Then talking about leadership, leadership is an act of being always in front of everyone, act of being in front. A leader is someone who is in front. Then leadership is always being in front of others to lead people right. Leading people right is an act of being a good leader. It is very unfortunate these days that many of the persons that claim to be leaders are not actually leading people right. It is very unfortunate, and it's a very sad situation that people keep wondering, what kind of leaders do we have? Because it ought not to be that way. It ought not to be that way. I want to take it back to when we were growing up. You know, those days while we were growing up, let's compare the kind of leaders we have those days and the kind of leaders we have now. Growing up as a little girl, our parents make sure they say what they mean and say what they want us to do. And we see them doing exactly what they want us to do. That's the kind of parents we had those days. And also we had the kind of teachers that always say things the way they are. And they want to carry everybody along and make sure everybody does what they do and do them correctly. Now, the kind of leaders we have now is the kind of leaders that say, and they don't do. Saying and doing, they are two different things. The kind of leaders we have now and the kind of leaders that speak too much grammar. They speak a lot of grammars, they bring a lot of controversy, and they expect the people they lead to do what they are not ready to do. I see that as very bad attribute of a good leader. That is for the society as a whole. But coming down to as an educator in a school system, teachers are seen as great leaders, no matter the level where you are. Whether you are in a primary school, elementary school, nursery school, secondary school, tertiary institution, they see educators as great leaders. And we must always uphold that responsibility of seeing you as a leader that does not lead people astray. The person that leads people aright, not astray. And most of the time, it is very saddening to see that when some persons are actually ready to do the right thing, some group of persons try to mock. I don't know if you are with me.
Right.
We're in a society whereby somebody is ready to do the right thing, and some other persons go there to discourage you from doing the right thing,
Right.
thereby calling you names that are not meant for you. Names such as Obasabi, Enono, you know now. Even in the school system, some few-minded staff that want to actually do the right thing, the other persons go there to discourage them. You want to show that you're the only one that knows this job. Take it easy, you know. And it is not going to take us to anywhere if we continue with this kind of mindset. That is why the kind of leadership we bring into our school system should be a leadership that is always on the move. The kind of leaders that will not fade away so easily. The kind of leadership or leaders that could stand the test of time. That could stand the test of time. So that the people you are actually leading could look back and say, oh, thank God this person crossed my path. I want to throw a question to every one of you. Are you the kind of leader that people that come across you will regret crossing paths with? It's a question for every one of you. Are you a leader, being in your school, in your community, in your workplace, anywhere? Are you a kind of leader that people come across and regret ever knowing you? It's a question, it's a tough question I ask myself every day. And it keeps me on check to know what to do and do it right, no matter who is watching and who is not watching. Because I tell people, your true person is that you do when no one is watching. That's your true person.
Right.
The one you do when no one is watching. When your supervisors are not there, your bosses are not there, that is your real person. The one you do in the face of everyone, that one is not your real person. The one you do when no one watches is your real person.
Awesome.
So can you actually boast of yourself as a leader, as you sit right now listening to me, that you are the kind of person somebody can look back at and say, this person actually touched this part of my life? Can you actually boast? Can any child or any human being, an adult that comes across you, no matter where, can actually say, thank God for the day I met you. Thank God for the day I met you. Because that day I met you marks the beginning of a new step in my life. Can we actually boast of that?
Awesome. Now, I mean, it's just amazing how you're going with the conversation already.
Yes.
Because you've not just answered the question about defining leadership in your context. You've also explained a little bit about the value and some of the challenges that we're currently facing, even as leaders. You've explained some of that. But I want us to get into a little bit of practicality here, especially on the challenges, because you are someone, when you look at your experience, just for context for everybody here, like we said, you've managed a conglomerate of over 200 schools, overseeing operations in several areas, and you're currently leading even your own school, and then, of course, your consultation organization. I'm going to be asking you different questions at different levels, but if you can go back to when you were with Heritage Schools, right? Kingdom Heritage, I want you to share some more for us. what were some of the challenges you saw in leadership, especially when it came to navigating generations? Because I remember from my conversation with you and our discussion the last time, which you will get to share with the others, you were the youngest in the board. You were the youngest in the board. What did that mean for you? How did you get that? What was the opportunities that was laid out for you? What were the challenges that existed, and how did that transition come about? You know, and what, so while you're sharing that, we're able to know what are some specific things that we can learn even about ourselves and then those who are in leadership. But I'd like you to tell us that story. That is something.
I remember when I was with my former workplace, I was actually the youngest among them all. I came in with zero experience, fresh from school those days.
Wow.
And I made myself stand out. Why did I stand out? I wanted to be really part of the people that matter in my workplace. I didn't look at my age. I didn't look at my experiences. I wasn't having experiences then as a young teacher. But I was optimistic by making sure I make myself better in what I have found myself doing. I made sure I put in my personal effort. I read books. I mingled with friends that are better than me. In leadership, don't say you are the best. You must make sure you go with people that you feel are better than you in that area. Where you are is good, but you shouldn't stay there for too long. Staying in a place for too long does not make you grow. So I took it as my personal project to make sure I make myself better than how I came. There's this thing my boss usually tells me those days. He said, it is good to come in anyhow, but it is very wrong to remain anyhow for too long. I don't need to get it.
Interesting.
My boss tells me at all times that it is good to come in anyhow, but it is going to be a very bad thing for you to remain anyhow for too long. If you remain anyhow for too long, it will make you not to get there quick. So always make sure you don't remain the way you are for too long. Because some person will tell you, nobody is perfect. And that one is a word I don't like using. If you keep saying nobody is perfect, that means you don't have room for growth.
Right.
You do not have room for that, means you can't actually do better than what you are doing. So have it in your mind right now that if I remain the way I am for too long, it's not good for me as a human being, as a leader to be, and as an educator. So there's room for improvement. And do things without expecting people to actually commend you. Do it as if it is your own. That thing, that ownership mindset should be your main watchword. I want to do it as if it is my own. Over time, you will be recognized. Over time, people that know what you are carrying will see you and they will pick you up.
Tell us about that. I want you to tell us about that. How did you? Because when you joined, you didn't start off as a board member. No, you didn't. You started with zero experience. So there's no possible way you would have started as a head of school. How did that happen?
What actually happened was I was brought in as a classroom teacher. Over time, I started working on myself by knowing things that ought to be done and improving on my personal person. I had to improve on myself by trying to attend seminars. I went out to pay for seminars on my own. I used my personal money to pay for seminars and begin to learn things that my school never exposed me to. Wow. So many times, you don't wait for somebody to sponsor you. If you actually want to grow as a leader, you can use your personal resources to get better than your mates. That is why sometimes in a workplace, you see that someone just comes in a particular, over time, the person gets promoted. Right. And the people that he or she met on ground will begin to wonder, this guy that just came in yesterday is not getting more promotions more than we are getting because we were here when she came in. Right. And that is not anybody's fault. It's nobody's fault. That was the angle I took my own race from. I came in, I saw people that were much older than me, and I was among the youngest. I said, how do I take off and make sure I get better than these people I met on ground? I went for personal development. People don't value personal development. They always wait for their companies to sponsor them. You can do this for yourself. And these are the things that will make you stand out over time and stand above your peers.
Right.
And people begin to wonder that you are wasting your money or wasting your time. It's not just a waste of time. It's not any waste of your money. It's for your own growth. And when my time was actually up there, I knew my time was up. I grew from the classroom teacher to a sectional head. My bosses told me, you can no longer be in this class. You are seeing something different from what I saw from day one. I was made a sectional head. After 1 year, I was made an assistant head of school. And I met people on ground. For 4 years, I met people on ground. They were wondering if it were something else. If we were to be a female, myself, a female, and a male boss, they would have said, maybe I have something I'm doing with my male boss and make them choose me above others. But I thank God, all the bosses I had were all females. So there was nothing nobody can accuse me of trying to buy my way into leadership of the school. So you need to be intentional about improving on yourself. Don't say, I don't have money. There are some times you need to go out of your way to make yourself better than how you were before. And I was chosen before you knew it. The head of school left. My boss said, you are now mature to take over as the head of school. Initially, I was reluctant. I felt the speed was too much. Sometimes when you make yourself stand up, the way things will become, it looks as if you are not ready to take up this responsibility. In your mind, your heart will be panting. Am I actually ready for this? Because there are some other persons that were there before you. That was my major fear. That these women are going to hurt me. That small girl of yesterday is now beginning to be their leader, their head. You can imagine that kind of scenario. I was scared at a point. I wanted to decline, but my husband said, give it a try. Forget your age. Forget your size. Your size does not matter. Your age does not matter. But your superiors see something in you. They are seeing something in you that they can work on. That if you have their own support, you can actually go further than where you are right now. That was how I took up that responsibility. And God helped me. I faced a lot of challenges. Let's talk about the challenges we faced. For you to be an outstanding leader, it must not be rosy. It's not a rosy journey. It won't come the way you want it. One of the things you must have as a leader that wants to stand out, you must have patience. Patience is something that a lot of leaders do not have. You must be patient in everything you do. Even when somebody tells you, who are you? Don't talk. You listen more as a leader. Leaders don't talk too much. They listen more. And when you talk too much as a leader, you might be quoted wrongly. Somebody might quote you out of context. But as a leader, you must always listen more than talking more. Listen more and talk less. That's one of the attributes that a good leader should have at all times. Another thing you must have as a good leader to succeed, you must have respect. Remember yesterday we mentioned how many generations in that platform. Yesterday we talked about generations. You can imagine where I worked. I had people that are even older than my mother still working in that place. Can you believe that? People that were older than my mom, they're still there. And you can imagine me dealing with such persons.
As the leader.
To get my work done and not have issue. You could imagine how respectful I could be to make sure my work is not spoiled because
don't step on unnecessary
toes. Good. So I have to bring back myself to be able to respect all of them according to just to make sure they don't sabotage my work. Because if you don't get the cooperation of these elderly men and women, hey, if you don't get their cooperation, it's very hard because many of them were there before you came in.
Right.
So you must actually, if not if you are going to compromise, there's a difference between respect and being to compromise. You respect them according to their ages, and you still get your work done when the needs be. Another
Amazing.
one you must have as a leader, you must show kindness.
Show
You
kindness.
must show kindness. If you're not a kind leader, you won't lead people well. You must show kindness as a leader. You must be kind to yourself because you cannot give what you don't have. You must be kind to yourself first of all for you to be able to give someone kindness. If you're not kind to yourself, you can't give someone else kindness. Another one that helped me well was empathy. You
Mm.
must show empathy. For you to be a leader, you must show empathy at all times.
Mm.
Sometimes it is not convenient, out of your convenience. To show empathy, sometimes it's not convenient for you, but you must do it for the sake of the job.
Mm.
You must be empathy for you to be able to succeed as a leader.
Mm.
Sometimes I really remember I said, showing empathy is not convenient. It's painful. It's not convenient.
Right.
But for the sake of the job, you must show it for you
Mm.
to be able to carry everyone along to succeed as a leader because you cannot work alone. You
Right.
cannot work alone in your team. Your team members, you need your team members to be able to succeed, to make
Mm.
sure you work very well. And those team members, you must show them empathy.
Mm.
For instance, when a team member comes to you and say, "Ma, I am not feeling well today. I don't think I can stay to the end of today. I want to check on my health." And the work also needs to be done. As a leader, what should you do at that point in time?
Mm.
The work is important. Your staff is also important. We
Mm.
didn't say because of the work, she shouldn't go to do checkup, to have
Mm.
her own checkup. This is where the empathy comes in. You need to put yourself in their own shoes.
Right.
And when you keep showing empathy to your staff, once in a while, when it becomes frequent, sometimes there is room for abuse. Sometimes they take you for granted.
Mm.
But you must be able to know when the person is actually sincere. Because a lot of people can do anything to be permitted out of duty. You get me?
Right.
You should be able to know when the person is saying the right thing or not. You must show one person I said, for you to be a good leader, you must be patient. Patience is a major thing you must do. You must have. The
Awesome.
next one I mentioned, I said is kindness.
Mm.
The next one I said respect. If you don't respect people you work with, they will not give it back to you.
Respectful.
Yeah, you must be respectful no matter their
Right.
ages, even your younger ones, your seniors, everybody must get their respect according to the level where they come into your work.
Okay. That's okay.
The last one I
You
say
want to add one more
empathy.
thing? Empathy. Yes.
Yes. Then
Empathy.
these are the things you must have as a leader. There are
Right.
sometimes your challenges as a leader is very broad. A lot of challenges come.
Mm.
A lot of challenges come in trying to work as a school head to parents and the rest of them. One of the major challenges you face as an educator in a school is that parents not giving you the support you need to make sure the children come out well.
Mm.
Parents are not readily available. It's an issue for us as school leaders.
Mm.
A lot,
Okay.
and if this thing continues this
Mm.
way for long, it's going to affect our educational sector so seriously because many families now depend solely on the school
Mm.
for the development of their children, which is not supposed to be so. It's supposed to be a 50-50 thing. You do from the house, the school does their own too. But now parents claim to be too busy. They claim to be too busy to even cook the children's meal. Sometimes we see meals that are not properly cooked.
Mm.
A mother brings such food to school and expect the child to eat. And if you are not a careful teacher, you might end up poisoning that child under the
Right.
school's roof.
Right.
Under
Right.
the school's roof. So every teacher must put their eyes down. You must
Mm.
be a good observer. Observe everything that happens around you to avoid falling into trouble unnecessarily. Because some of these parents are careless, and we can't be careless as they are too. If parents are careless, we need to be more careful.
Okay.
Another issue we have that we usually have as leaders in school is teachers' incompetence. And now we do not have people that want to teach anymore. Teachers are scarce these days. There are scarcity of teachers. And if care is not taken, it's going to continue like this for a very long time. Why is it so? Government is not paying attention to teachers anymore. See the recent allocation to education. You see the percentage they have given to all the educational sector. Government does not regard teachers anymore. They don't regard educators anymore. And it's making people to lose interest in this teaching profession. And by the time we no longer have teachers, who is going to teach these children? We can't have teachers anymore on ground.
Right. Okay.
So it's a chain. It's a pyramid. It's a chain.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want us to lose track of some of the amazing things that you've shared, in the conversation. I don't want us to lose track of that at all. Because, if you guys remember, I asked a question about, her experience with leading over 200 group of schools, what that meant in terms of the leadership that she saw there, how did she transition into that role. I wanted her to share that because there are lessons for you as a teacher or someone who is just growing up in an organization. There are lessons for the leader in the institution as well, because, for example, let me give you some of the takeaways I get out from that before I get you to the next question to complete that thought you have in your mind, Lady Chinwe. First of all, is that she says she came with zero experience. Let's have that in mind, zero experience. In today's kind of world, I don't know how many schools how many school leaders that will be open to hire someone on zero experience. That's almost impossible. So we are losing that touch of being able to take chances. And if you don't take chances on people, you definitely do not know what you can get from them, right? So that's number one. Taking chances is very important, because if she was not taking on zero experience, because again, I keep telling, even the CEOs, the award-winning authors, etc., they were all novices and amateurs on day one.
Yeah.
One became a professional and expert in day one. Be willing to give chances. That's one lesson I was able to distill from that. And then she talked about personal development. Says it's good to come in anyhow, but it's unacceptable to remain anyhow for too long.
Yeah.
You must invest in your personal development as educators personally. Some of you are aware in your schools. These are kind of programs that what we're doing in the educators retreat, for example, are kind of programs your school force you to pay for, or probably subsidize the fee for you and force you to attend. You should not be forced to attend programs like this. You must invest in your personal development. And then I love the next point I got here, honestly, is I love it so much because I wrote it down as step up when being called. A lot of us are too shy when we are called up for leadership. We are too shy. You can imagine being in this position where she was, being the youngest, and she in a group of schools where you have over 200 people. I keep going back to that 200 group of schools. I keep going to that experience because in that kind of environment, the generational divide is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, I'm telling you. And and it's scary. What it means is very scary. How can you tell me that you become the leader of this? And I've been here, and you have to interact across these different divides. It's not usual. So most people will cower in the face of that leadership call, but you must be bold. Leadership requires boldness. Step up to leadership and own what has been given to you. Be bold. Do it afraid if you must, but do it. Do it afraid if you must, but do it. I took that out of that, and then of course. You went in to share some other things like leaders should listen more. And that was referring back to some of what we said yesterday about inquiry-based leadership. We have leaders that don't ask questions. I don't want us to miss this important point. You have to ask questions. You have to ask your people questions. You don't know it all, is the truth. The reason why you assemble the team is so that you can find people that can do that thing better than you can. Honestly, that is why you have a team. I tell this to my team every time. I lament to them every time I have to do what I know they should be doing. I lament in a big way. They know I don't take it easy on them whenever I do something like that. Because what I'm expecting that they step up and begin to do it even better than I could ever do it. Look at that. The more thumbs up and smiling at because they know what I'm talking about. I don't take it easy on them at all. Every time I find myself doing what I know they should be doing or thinking about what I know they should be thinking of, I'm pissed because I should not know it all. I should not, as a leader, I believe you should have an idea of every single thing, but you should not know it more than the person who is the expert that you have hired to come. If you know it more than the expert that you have hired, then why did you hire the expert? Why is the person in your team? So we must be willing to accept the fact that we do not know it all. That's why when I was talking about yesterday about addressing our insecurities, this event, these conversations should begin to address our insecurities even as leaders. Sometimes it's because we are just insecure. You hired that person because they know it better. Give them the chance to express. So you must listen more, ask questions, take feedback. It doesn't mean you don't give instructions. No, it doesn't make you less of a leader. It makes you a better leader even at that. Be respectful. There was no way you could have navigated. There's no way you could have navigated the nuances of that deep generational divide without respect. There is no possible way. You must be polite. Young people in the house, fellow young people, because I'm young too, know how to interact with the old, know how to interact with the elderlies, understand how to interact with grace and respect. You must know how. It's not okay because I've been made the leader, everybody, you must bow to my command. That is also revealing your own insecurity. When you begin to behave like that, it's revealing your insecurity as a person. You don't need to pull anybody down to be a leader. No. You raise people up actually to show that you're a leader. So when people throw stones at you, and let me just add this. If you are not ready for the people that you are leading and about to help to throw stones at you and misunderstand you, let me tell you already, you're not ready for leadership. If you are not ready for misunderstanding by the same people you are there to help and lead, you're not ready for leadership. You must be ready for the nuances, for the controversies, for the different conversations that will come up. The same people you are trying to help, they will be the one to call you out. They will be the one to think wrong about you, but you must know how to calm, calculated, and address them at that level. So you must be respectful across the generational divide. Show kindness, show empathy. But at this point, I want us to address something, Lady Chinwe. And I want us to just dive into practical aspects of bridging these generational gaps in leadership and in fostering transgenerational collaboration, because that's what we need, right? And right now, of course, you run your own group of schools, Pro-West schools, and like you rightly said at the beginning, you started today. In your school, first of all, let's understand something. What is the generational divide like in your school currently? Do you have those who are like 50 something? You have the 50s, you have the 40s, do you have the 20s? Of course, you definitely have the 20s, but do you have the 50s in your school right now?
No staff is above 50 for now.
Okay.
I do not have a staff that is above 50 for now. No.
So you have more of the millennials, that's 40, 30, and then the Z's, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, even at that, that is still a divide. And then the biggest divide are the students.
Yes. That's
the biggest divide. So you have, for example, you are the Gen X, you are the 50s, right? Meanwhile, your staff, you have them, they are the millennials and the Gen Zs, right? But then your students, these are the alphas. So that's 4 generations already. My question to you is, how do you inspire leadership in your school to make sure that across this different level, there is collaboration, students are learning from the teachers effectively? Because the truth is not connected to the teacher. They will not understand anything that is being said. They will not learn, they will not improve, they will be stagnant.
Okay. Thank you so much. One of the things in our school, mentorship.
Oh, I think, all right. I think your network
we don't. Mentorship.
Okay,
I don't joke with mentorship.
okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, better now. Yes.
Okay. Mentorship is one of the ways we use in making sure everybody is carried along. Mentorship. Mentorship, mentors and mentees. And this is how we do. We kind of sort the children according to their abilities and their strengths. In a school such as this, there are some students that do better than some in behavior-wise, character-wise. And if we are actually okay with such things, we try to group them. This one be the mentor to this one, while we do a follow-up on them too.
Right.
Most of the time, it is working seriously. Let me give you an instance of what happened last time. A particular group of persons were not fast at copying their notes. They were always laughing behind. Each time this copy note, they cry. So what we did was this. We brought out the fast, those children are copying their notes very well and neatly and fast too. We had to pair them up. When you notice such thing, you begin to bring in the good ones, the average one, and mix them up. And over time, you know, they say iron sharpened iron.
Right.
The faster ones will rub off. Definitely it will rub off. Based on your ideology or what you want to get. If, you know, before you do anything, you must have an objective. What do I really want to get from doing this? If we keep mentoring these students, mentoring must not always come from we, the adults. A child can mentor a fellow child and do it rightly. So it can also be behavior-wise, in academics, anything. So we try to bring out mentors among themselves too, to mentor some other one and begin to say, this is your mentor and you are the mentee. And we put our eyes close to the observe if the person actually doing the right thing or the wrong thing. You know, most of the time when you group children like this, if you don't put your eye, the child might be misled. I hope you understand.
Right.
Then you as an adult, if you actually want these children to mentor themselves based on what they can actually do, your eyes must still be on them to correct both of them if they're actually doing the right thing or the wrong thing too.
Right.
So majorly, our major thing here we do is mentors and mentee.
Amazing.
Mentor ourselves among themselves. And children tend to learn from their fellow children faster.
Right.
They learn from their fellow children faster because for that child to be able to open up to say, I want to learn from them, they learn without having any boundaries. And sometimes the children bring themselves down to their level to teach them and to mentor well. But although sometimes we are not that patient like they are. You know, for you to also be a good leader, to lead someone that patient, sometimes due to the workloads many of us have on our table, we are not patient enough to actually know how to do these things sometimes. But a fellow child does not have any work. It's not just to come to school, eat and go. They bring their time down. It has actually worked. If many of these classroom teachers here work with this kind of pattern, your work this will be faster. Mentorship among the children is working like magic. It works.
Awesome.
It works.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing you say, is very powerful. Now, you said we mentor one another. So there are different kinds of mentorship that is at play here. There is you mentoring the teachers. There is the teachers inspiring you. Then there is the teachers, of course, inspiring and mentoring the students. But then there is a very interesting mentorship where the students mentor and teach themselves and inspire themselves. And that is what I call peer mentorship. And this is something that I'm equally very, very familiar with. Our leaders at Tech School would attest to this. We have what we call junior mentors, but we now have what we call peer mentors. And this does not just apply to schools. This applies to organizations. What it means, if you're a leader, instead of you, for example, there are sometimes, Lady Chinwe, you'll be trying to explain something to your staff and they're not getting it. The best way you can get them to get that thing is to let another staff explain to them.
Good.
Very simple, and your problem is solved. So understanding that sometimes the very big truth is that you will not be able to communicate well. sometimes being a good leader is allowing someone else to do the communication for you. Think about that. Imagine that truly being a good leader in some point, there are some points where it's for you to really communicate, and some point being a good leader in that situation, in that context, is recognizing that I am not enough for this, because you insisting on yourself to be the one who passes the information at that point, again, begins to reflect on your insecurities. You have to let the right people communicate.
Yes.
Let them communicate, which is why we're talking about collaboration across that generational divide. We must not be, or if it's not me, if I do not communicate, then it doesn't make me, I'm no longer the leader of my company. I'm no longer the leader of the school. It didn't get the instruction from me. Why shouldn't it be me? It must be me. It must be me. That is an insecurity that we must be dealing with. And that is why I want to ask you the next, as we're wrapping up this session, I want us to get into the point where I want you to address leaders here as a wake-up call. What would you tell them to wake them up? Because it's just like we keep saying, every leader would insist, most leaders will insist, oh, it's a people problem, it's a people problem, it's a people, my staff, oh, my staff, this, my teachers, this. Meanwhile, you go to another school, you go to another company, you go to another organization, and things are booming. You will see people so motivated, so encouraged, they are so working every single day. What is the difference? What is the wake-up call and the charge? Double down as a wake-up call and a charge to every leader listening to you today. What is the takeout that they can get from this and wake up from this conversation today?
Okay, my wake-up call for every leader here is, before you go into anything, find out the reason why you want to go into that thing. Why do I want to do this? You must identify the main reason why you want to become a leader. Because leadership is not something you can just go and buy from the markets. No, you cannot buy leadership from the market. It can't be bought anywhere. It's something that is inside of you. You groom it. It must be groomed. You groom yourself. You choose to be a leader. You don't go and buy it anywhere. It's not sold anywhere. So you must, first of all, identify why you want to be a leader. Why do I want to be a leader? Number two, you must also know, what do I want to achieve? If I want to be a leader to this group of persons, you must know your reasons why you want to be a leader and what you want to gain, what you want to achieve to be a real leader. To be able to.
Oh my. I was loving the flow of that thought. Her network better allow her to finish up that thought.
Leadership by example is the best and the fastest. Leadership by example is the best and the fastest leadership skill I have ever known since I started leading people.
Leadership by example.
Leadership by example is the best and the fastest. Fastest leadership skill I have ever worked with. And it's so smooth, it's so seamless, you won't have issues. When you walk and people see you do it, it's easier for you to lead them.
Right.
They want to see you do that thing and always be in front to show them, this is how I'm going to do it. And also do it like this. And if you also want to be a good leader, do not be scared of making mistakes. A lot of leaders are scared of making mistakes. Mistakes are part of your success stories.
Right.
If you are a leader that is always scared of making mistakes, I don't know how far you can actually go, because mistakes are part of your success stories. When you say CVs, your CVs being written down, mistakes are part of it. Because when you make mistakes, you are wiser and you are more smart. You are smarter. You wouldn't want to make such mistakes again. So as a leader, don't be scared of making mistakes. Because mistakes are part of your success stories. And when you make mistakes, learn not to allow it happen again. Because when you allow the same mistake over and over, it shows that you are no longer wise. It shows that you are foolish. It is not bad to make mistakes. Hear me and hear me well. It is not a bad thing to make mistakes. Then when you make the mistake over and over and over and over, it now brings in foolishness. it shows that the person is now foolish. You are not wise.
Right.
So what I've said now, for you to be a leader, you must know why you want to be a leader. Always know why you want to be a leader. Number two, you must know what you want to achieve as a leader. What do I want to gain? Number three, you must lead by example. It's the fastest and the simplest way of leading people. You must lead by example. Don't be the one that say something and do something differently. What you say it and mean it the way you say it.
Talk and
say
do,
it and mean it and say it the way you say it. The next one, do not be scared of making mistakes, because mistakes are part of your success stories. Lastly, when you keep making mistakes over and over again, that shows that the person is no longer wise. Foolishness is not bound to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so
come
don't
on.
make mistakes for too long.
Come on, are you there? Come on, guys, are you there? These are practical conversations, people. Practical conversations. Let's put up that love, that reaction for this very wonderful segment by Lady Chinwe Dike. Amazing. We have just talked about a very important topic, and that topic has been reimagining leadership in education. And this was quite important for us to talk about, because if we don't talk about it, then we are not really ready to make progress. And we must know why we're reimagining leadership in education. We must then cultivate values across the different generations. And there's some things that you just shared at this last part. I just want to, in my own feedback, I'm going to take feedback from a couple of people. So if you want to give feedback already, you know what to do. Put on your camera, put your hands up. I'm going to call the first 3 people to give feedback. What you learned from this stuff, how this session made you feel, what is your key takeaway, and if you do have a question, of course you can ask a question, but I primarily love to get your feedback on this segment. But my own feedback to this is, number one, you're talking about identifying your purpose. This is something that I feel like is very striking and very instructive for you to start there. Why do you really want to be a leader? I find out that most people want to be leaders because they want to fulfill their insecurities. Nothing more, nothing less. They want to show up as bosses. They want to be seen as the owner of this, school leader, this, executive director, the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. That's just what they want. Not because there is a need to truly make any form of meaningful impact. Nothing. This is the reason why we are seeing the challenges we're having, even in the school system. Why do you want to be a leader? The truth is, if you do not want to serve, please get out of leadership. Be a follower. But the truth is that leadership happens everywhere. That's the worst part of it. Whether you are called a leader, whether you are leading a company or you are leading a class, either ways, these are things that haunt you personally. Why do you want to be a leader? In the classroom, you're a leader, for example. In your community, in your home, for example, in your home, you might be the first in your family, and you're the first amongst, let's say, five other siblings. Listen, you're a leader. What kind of leadership are they getting from you? What is it for that kind of leadership? It was given to you by force. So you just assume that position just by nature. So you then have to come to the awareness. Okay, I am a leader now. What do I have to do? Why am I here? What is the purpose for me being a leader in this place? And once you understand your purpose, which has to be something higher, then the what to achieve becomes easy. If you don't understand your purpose, you wouldn't even know what to achieve. You wake up every day, just like I saw an African. It's not even an African joke. Most parents, when they just wake up, especially new parents, they just wake up and they just get angry for no reason. Everybody, why is that plate there? Take that plate away. Why is this house smelling like this? You're just angry you don't even know why you're angry. You just come to the office, you are lashing out on everybody. You don't know why you're angry. You don't know what is happening. It's because there is no direction to your leadership. You must know exactly what is the purpose and where am I driving these people at. Let me tell you, There is no meeting I have with my team. They are here. They can quote me wrong. All of them are here. There is no meeting I have with my team members that I do not emphasize one way or the other the vision of the organization. What are we trying to achieve? I'm telling you, one way or the other, you will hear it. This is what we are trying to achieve. And then I do not fail to paint a vivid picture. This is where we want to go. I share with you the vision. Then I paint a picture for you. I keep painting a mental picture. This is where we're going to go. This is how your life will transform. Sometimes I sit down and I paint that picture for them. This is how your life will transform. If this thing happens, let me tell you, your life has changed as you know it. They are here. They will tell you, they've heard it from me countless times. Your life as you know it will change if this and this happens. I literally tell them this. Why are you leading? What are you taking them to? Oh Lord Jesus. Let me not begin to share some things here. You know, some people look at me and they say, oh, you're blessed with people, you're blessed with this, you're blessed with that. For example, let's take the team, ETN team. Don't worry, let's not get in, let's not go there. Let's not go there. You guys will not believe that for the past how many years I've been working with volunteers. I said volunteers. My leaders are volunteers. They have never been on any payroll, not one day, not one pay, they have never been on any payroll. We've been running this program for 4 years, since 2020, 5 years now. We've never called for sponsorships. Why it was possible is because there were people, and let me tell you the truth, it's not just a people thing, it was a leadership thing. Yeah, that's boastful, right? But that's also being bold about what you're talking about, because that is the truth. I'm telling you what is happening, right? So we as leaders, we must know how to lead up front. Like you said, lead in the front, lead in the front. The wake-up call, like you said to us, we must know that it is us. It is not the people, it is us. There was a meeting I had with my people one certain time about 2 of my very core leaders, and I said, I really don't know what's happening here. We had that meeting for a span of 1 week. I said, something is happening. Things are not going as it's supposed to go. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I want us to talk about it for a period of time until we find out what the problem is. Is it a leadership problem? Is it a me problem? Is it a you problem? Is it a system problem? Is it a structure problem? Let's find out what the problem is. We had that conversation. It ended up, I think it lasted for 2 weeks. Praise, where are you? How long did that conversation last? It was a meeting for how long? And we ended up discovering through that meeting and that open conversation that truly the problem was there were roles that were so undefined. That was all the problem we had. It was not a people problem. So at the end of the day, it was a leadership problem because it's leadership that ends up defining the roles. Anyways, let me not stretch this thing further than it has gone. But it's been a very beautiful, wonderful session. And at this point, we're going to take feedback as we wrap up this particular fireside chat to get to the next still amazing, mind-blowing fireside chats. And my guests are already in the house. And I tell you, we're going to have a very interesting time. But I'm going to take feedback. And if you're ready, you can put your hands up. But before I begin to take from other people, I'm just going to, again, give the delectable Maxine Crow the opportunity to give some feedback here.
Chinwe, thank you so much for sharing. I am just completely blown away, and coming from a facility management background, and just that number of 200 and the complexity that comes with all of that. You have people on this call don't. It's an incredible achievement, and I'd respect you totally.
Thank
The
you, ma'am.
takeaways for me were really around, what leaders have to have, but also the challenges. So when you talked about listen more, not less, my daughter's always, Mars always say, you don't listen, you never listen. Listening is just, it feels uncomfortable because people expect to fill the silence, and they're not comfortable with silence when there's interaction between others. Get comfortable with that silence, because that is when you are truly listening. You're not anticipating what someone else is going to say or presume you're going to say or interrupt what you're saying when you're in your flow. So that was priceless for me. And the respect, I wrote a note down when you talked about having to be so young yet manage elders and lead teams that are of all different within your culture. I know that the respect is big. I've experienced it recently, and one of the things I wrote down was you have to make a choice, and I'm talking to everyone on this call. You have to make a choice, the type of leader you're going to be and who you want to show up as. And I say that because similar experience, I was 27, my industry back at 30, predominantly male, white, and I was the young black female in a senior role. You make a choice. I said, I'm not going to let color define what I'm doing, and none of us should. What's going to define is the way I walk, the talk, and when you talk about your actions, speak louder than your words. When you're in that classroom, when you're teaching, don't underestimate how much of an influence you have on those children. It's very, very powerful, and they're my massive takeaways from your talk today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Maxine. Because of our time, we're going to quickly wrap up this session. Ladies and gentlemen, your love, your reactions to Lady Chinwe. Again, we thank you for making out the time. Like we said, school just resumed today, but you made out the time. She's at the office. This is day one. I don't know how many school leaders will have the guts to give out time to do any other thing apart from looking into what is happening in their schools in day one. So thank you so much for making out the time to share with us. And again, for everyone listening, this session is currently available on YouTube, and you can watch it all over again. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll bring this session to a close, and we're going to be moving to the next segment right away. Amazing. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen,